Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It is Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It is 17:15 Zulu on June 18th, 2024. And this is Tuesdays with DX Engineering. And this is the show where we typically have DX Engineering sales, support, and technical team members on to talk about things that are going on in DX Engineering that might help you have more fun with the best hobby in the world. Today we have our sales team leader. It's Mike, KC8NMW. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Tim. How you doing?
Good, good. Mike, you've got a load of experience in amateur radio. Let's talk a little bit about your time at Amateur Electronics Supply back in the past.
Yeah, I was with AES up until they closed, so that would have been approximately 11 years. And then shortly after, I came over to DXE.
And when you were at AES up in Wickliffe, Ohio, were you on the counter? Were you on the phones? What kind of experience did you have there?
It was both. So we had, of course, a walk-in retail store, and then we dealt with phones, phone sales, tech support, and the internet was big back then, but it's not as big as it is now. So the web orders were not as much as they would be comparatively these days, but we still dealt with that.
Right. Now, Mike, I know you, when it comes to DX Engineering, you are a big part of our ability to actually enter into chat with customers. How's that going?
It's good. So from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., there's text message support, Facebook Messenger, as well as live chat if we have agents available. So customers can go to the contact us link on the website and put in a question that way.
And so that's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. Mm-hmm. And that's just another way to communicate with us. How do you think that worked? Is that working pretty good? I mean, are the customers pretty happy with that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of customers that prefer that method of communication over picking up the phone for various reasons, and that's fine. Same with email. We have a lot of emails we deal with on a daily basis also, because that's 24/7. You can email us anytime. Now, obviously, you're not going to get a response late in the evening, but we'll see it in the next morning.
Yeah, and, I know when the guys are signing on, your team members are signing on, they're seeing the emails that came in from overnight. And of course, we're getting emails from all over the world too, and trying to, solve any questions or any problems that way. But and it's not just a Gmail box. It is a very integrated, really detailed email system to try and track customers.
Right. Many of them are customer service related, like a shipping issue. So we have team members who handle that. A lot of it's tech questions, application questions.
That brings up an important point, shipping. How would you characterize here in the last 6 months? I know, this is after COVID and everything else. How would you characterize FedEx, UPS, the post office shipping? How reliable? How, here we are coming up to, a field day weekend this Friday and Saturday. And how about waiting till the last minute? Is that a good idea? I mean, can we do that?
I don't recommend waiting. If you need to order something for the weekend, you should probably do it today, even if you're in a 1 to 2 day zone for ground, because ground transit times are not absolute guaranteed. It could be delayed for a number of reasons. So it's best to get your order in as quickly as possible.
And, delays can occur just, weather. Certainly with this heat, I think that is affecting different weather systems and storms. And now there are more and more fires out west as well. So all those things can affect shipping, whether it comes out of Sparks, Nevada, or the delivery is coming out of Talmadge. Let's talk about a favorite field day item of mine, the antenna analyzer, whether it's an MFJ or a Comet or a rig expert. How about some tips, Mike, for guys on field day?
Well, our repair tech Ed's going to like that I mentioned this. It's always very important to make sure there's coordination between those that are doing transmitter testing and those that are tuning antennas, because the strong near field RF from the transmit antenna and you're standing with the analyzer 10 feet away, even though you're sweeping a different frequency, it's going to blow up the analyzer.
Yeah, and boy, there is nothing worse than being out at field day and having an antenna analyzer that doesn't work anymore just because there was a nearby transmitter. So anytime you're using the analyzer, you really got to make sure that all the other transmitters at the site are shut down.
Right.
And the other thing that when we were doing WRTC antenna testing back in 2014, 2018, and even last year when I was in Italy, it's important to take the antenna feed line, so both the shield and the center conductor, and connect that to ground before you hook it up to the antenna analyzer. And what's the reason for that? To take static electricity off of the wire or the Yagi antenna, that, or even a vertical, that may have accumulated static electricity. And what happens, Mike?
It damages the analyzer.
Yep. Same thing as a nearby transmitter. It has the same, blows up the front end of the analyzer. So you want to be careful, because that is a sensitive instrument. But boy, I'll tell you what, if you remember the old days when you had to drag out a watt meter or an SWR meter and coax and jumper cables and everything else to see if you got the SWR close. And now we have these handheld instruments that tell us everything about what's going on. So, we've got a good stock of these analyzers as well, Mike.
Right. We have the Rig Expert. We also have the Common Antenna Analyzers, very good product.
Well, so there are good choices. And what about coax? What are you hearing about our high visibility coax?
I've had many good compliments from customers who are using it for POTA or for field day. So it's the orange coax. It's high visibility, and it's just very useful for out in the field, even for home installation. It's the same specs for the jacket. It's just orange.
Right.
And
yeah. So, but that orange color, does it really stand out?
Yes.
No, that's really impressive. And yesterday we had a storm here, and we had one of the neighbors fell because of slipping on a concrete pad due to the rain. And slip and falls can really be a problem, especially on field day when you've got a lot of people around.
Right. So having the orange coax be visible and stand out helps. And we also offer it pre-made and 35 feet. We had that request from many customers because 25 is not enough, 50 is too much. 35 is just perfect.
Yeah, 35 feet is a really good length. And but we do have the 25s and the 50s right as well. And what about RG8X versus like our 400 Max or RG213? What do you think?
I think it depends what you're using it for. For VHF, UHF, a short run's okay, maybe no more than 25 feet. But even at UHF, the losses are going to be higher. So the 400 Max is also good for field day because it's a flexible coax. It's the larger diameter, but it's still very easy to work with. Same thing with 213 for HF.
Right. And what about rope, Mike? Guys that need rope to either hold up a mast or to hold up a wire antenna.
We have the Mastrant as well as synthetic textiles. And for the Mastrant line, we also offer a wide selection of hardware, the grips and the sorry, it escapes me, but all the all the different hardware to use to hold the rope up and attach it.
There is a lot of different items that go along with that to make the installation easier. Um, and how about a favorite field day radio? What is it? Yaesu? Is it Kenwood? ICOM?
We have a lot of customers using the ICOM 7300. Radio's been out a while now. It's very well established. A lot of people know how to use it. So if you show up at a field day and you know how to use that radio, they're going to put you to good use. FT991A by Yaesu, also the Yaesu FT710 field has been a fantastic seller, very popular for field day.
You know, and the performance of all of the radios you mentioned, Sherwood has given high marks in receiver performance to those radios. And, I think a big thing is to make sure that you have a good 13.8 volt power supply. How many
Correct.
times, Mike, has the problem been traced to a power supply?
Yes, it's very often that you have a power supply that's on the fritz or is putting out low voltage, which is just as bad for a radio as high voltage.
Yeah, and you can get really erratic operation. And then, the number one suggestion I think that when I get asked about field day is make sure everything's tight, whether it's the nuts are tight on the power supply, and definitely when it comes to coax connectors, because boy, can you get erratic. How about jumpers and things that we have in stock, Mike? Making field day easy.
Yeah, RG8X in the orange, high visibility, as well as the standard black. We have our 400 max jumpers, RG8U, which is foam, very easy to work with. All that stuff's in stock, ready to ship.
Yeah, that's great. Let's take a look at the chat room here. We got Darren on from St. John, New Brunswick, and the KA3DRR experience. Awesome points about one's antenna analyzer. Thanks. Got to operate field day with Scott, probably KA3DRR, probably about 35 years ago. So great to have you on here today, Scott. And our friend Scotty Meyer, KG9Z, always a fan of DX Engineering and on the phones at DX Engineering. Dan, WA4 Mike Oscar Mike, down in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky. My rig expert 230 from DX Engineering is the best money I have ever spent. So high marks on the 230. Skip is on. Pete Cars. We'll be using the club's IC 7300s for our field day adventure in Class 4A, Ohio. And I think they have multiple 7300s. So Kevin Forrester is up in Alaska, KL7KY. Kevin and I used to work together at the same company, and says, thanks for doing these videos, Tim. And Kevin, I'll be seeing W3YQ here shortly to do some antenna work to get ready for field day here. And so we're always good to hear from guys that I've worked field day with and guys that I've worked work with. So good all the way around. Mike, I know you're busy. I know this is the busy time of year when you're on the phones, solving problems and taking care of issues. And I want to thank you for everything you do to make sure that, our remote employees are in great shape because of your diligence. And thank you for being on the team, Mike.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate you and everybody else on the team. We have a great group, and we all bounce things off each other. That's what makes us probably the best support in the industry.
It is incredible how well everything works. And shout out to you and the rest of the sales and technical team here at DX Engineering. If you need some stuff for field day, take Mike's advice. Get that order in today so that we can ship it. If we got it in stock, we're going to ship it tonight and get it in your hands, hopefully before field day. UPS, FedEx, to the post office, you never know. So don't wait. Place the orders as soon as possible. And if you have a question, you can always email us, dxengineering at dxengineering.com or give us a call on the 800 number. Until next time, 73 from DX Engineering.
7-3.